Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Amy and I am very excited to be back at the live at the Waterhole show with an awesome place here in Kenya with elephant bulls who have come for a drink. Now remember everyone, this is of course a live and interactive show, so please do make sure that you send through your questions to me. And you can do that through the Wild Earth app, the website, comment with @FC YouTube stream, or join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth.
Darcy Miller, you say hi Amy and Leander, and you say good Wednesday, Wildeth and me. And while we enjoy these beautiful images, let's have a look at what the weather is doing. Testing, testing. Oh, okay, fantastic. I just logged in and out of the call before I restarted. I'm not. Well, I could sit and watch these elephants all day, everyone. I really enjoy this particular view that we have here in Kenya. Mercedes, good to have you say hello as well. It's good to be back. Catherine, you also are saying hi to myself and Luanda. Nice to know that we have so many loyal waterhole viewers. Yes, Catherine, indeed, there were a few gremlins around, but I'm glad that we got them to go away. And yes, who knows, maybe one ton famous elephant bull will make an appearance this afternoon. Bill had asked if I've seen the elephant bull that has only one left tusk. You say he is beautiful. Yes, I do think that I have seen him before. Oh, the elephant on the right is now starting to splish splash here. There's also still quite a lot of insect life around. You can see them all flying about, birds as well. Quite a climate up here in Kenya in comparison to more of southern Africa. Much higher up and closer to the equator. Well, it's been a wonderful start here in Kenya, everyone. But how about we head over to Madikwe and see what's happening at Tau? And we've arrived just in time for that water buck to take a leap. But I love this waterhole. There's always a lot going on. Different variety of species from this water buck. Vultist, impala and zebra are around at the moment. Sounded like a pearl-spotted owlet was calling in the background there. It is one of the owl species that is quite active in the daytime. There were some Egyptian geese that were chasing each other there in the background. They made quite a splash behind that impala. Spas, you want to know, are white-faced whistling duck looking. This looks like a spurwing geese who's closest to us. And those actually look like red-billed teals. So if I look at their faces, there's quite a big, sort of a dark brow and then a very big white cheek. So those don't actually look like white-faced whistling ducks. They look like red-billed teals. And you want to know, though, if I've ever seen their ducklings. I don't have seen white-faced whistling ducklings. That's a bit of a tongue twister. But I do know that we do see them here at Tau, white-faced whistling ducks. That is a spurwing goose that mentioned. the second waterbuck has appeared, and it's also nice to see some Egyptian geese and more as well. It's interesting to notice how much larger the waterbuck on the left is than the one on the right, particularly when it comes to their horn. Look how much wider they are apart. And that can be genetics, but also probably maybe the dominant waterbuck bull around this area on the left. Fires, yes, this waterhole's definitely losing water. I can see it in the time that I've been away and now come back to the show. I don't think it will ever get completely dry. They may pump a part of it, but slowly but surely the water levels are going down in certain parts. And that is because we are now in the dry season, so it can be expected. And there are the zebras that have also the drink. I love seeing zebras. There's even some more on their way to join. Wow. I just want to focus out. There we go. By the way, Spice, I looked up a white-faced whistling duck chick or duckling, and they actually don't look too dissimilar than Egyptian geese chicks, to be honest with you. Maybe the size, they would be slightly smaller, but also a little bit yellow with brown markings on. But like I mentioned, those ones that we can see on screen right now are the red-billed teals. You can see those beautiful red bills and then a very white cheek with the dark top of their head. Oh wow, what a beautiful shot of those zebras. I think it's Luanda in charge of the camera at the moment. Some excellent camera work there. It is Luanda. Brilliant. That was such a beautiful shot of the zebras and their reflections drinking. Bill, you say that this looks like waterbuck heaven. I think most of these animals really enjoy the area and where those waterbuck were. I know that the elephants also really enjoy that spot with the grass growing out from the waterhole. Yep, exactly there where the Spurwingi is decided to be for the day. Well, lovely little visit here at Tau Lodge. Let's go up to Oldonyo and see what's happening over there. Ah, a third friend has joined us. Feels like the elephant on the left hasn't been able to get to the water. This one keeps pushing it away. Catherine, absolutely lovely bulls. And Lando was just saying the one on the left looks like he was resting his trunk for a while when he had looped it up and put it on his trunk, on his risk. And we often see that behavior, especially with bulls. Giving their trunk a bit of a break. He's now actually resting it completely on the ground. It's also a lovely view of an elephant's feet and their toenails. All the way from their toes to their ears. You can see the detail of the mud that's been caked on the ear. It's fascinating to think about the story of each one of these individuals, where they've come from, how long they've been out of the herd, the life they lead now. And what may lay in store for them in the years to come. LG said to hear from you. You would want to know what would cause the big ear tear in the ear on the elephant on our right. LG7, there's a few different things. More likely the vegetation that they walk through. It could have also happened when it was a younger elephant, or it could have been a small tear that's increased in size over the years of this elephant's life. You think about just how high up those ears are. There's not much else that could reach it other than trees or another elephant. Yeah, Luanda raised a very good point, saying that he wonders why those ear tears don't scale and then actually heal and close up the tear within the skin, more specifically the cartilage that makes up the ear. And I think it's partly because just the size of the elephant, the size of some of those tears. There's definitely blood in the ear, we know that, but also the very ends of the ear are just sort of loose skin. There's not very much cartilage there. And to think about, for example, of our own ears, if there was a cut or a tear in the ear, and then that scabs, but if there's a chunk missing, it won't ever completely heal. There'll always be a little bit of an indent or a tear around there. Oh, Bill, that's so kind of you. Thank you for saying that. You say, Amy, I think I speak for everyone. That has been a treat to have you to show us around lives at the waterholes. Well, it's a treat for me to do it. But I'm so glad that you enjoy my company, as I enjoy all our viewers watching on and interacting with me. I was also thinking now about this ear tear conundrum and the healing of it, about the flappiness of the end of an elephant's ear. Let's say there's a tear. It's a cut, so the flap now of skin that doesn't stay straight up. Of course, gravity works with that tear and it pulls that flap down and it's facing the ground basically. And so it's impossible then for that skin to reattach to the rest of the elephant. So there will therefore be a gap. So the edges where there would be blood and scab would heal, but they would never touch each other again. And I think that is why we see these tears and sort of sometimes big gaps in the elephant ears. interesting to notice the line on that middle elephant's tusk. So, well, I think it would be on all three of them, where the skin flap has kept the top bit of the tusk very clean. The tusk is exposed to all the mud and dirt out in the environment. It was quite apparent there where if he does another slurp of water, that skin lifts up. You can see a clear white line at the top of the tusk. Well, it's just peeping out now a little bit on his right. There, that's quite clear. I was just saying to Luanda now how this elephant left is having proper snooze. Except for the fact his friend is flapping his ear in his eye. He's looking very relaxed. Well, we are going to pop away from these bulls for a little bit. I'm sure we'll be back a bit later. But let's go see the front and head over to Djuma Dam Camp. Oh, this is very cool. We've got a bearded woodpecker. I actually just heard one calling. And I think this is the one that I had with Cam yesterday that was looking at this hole. I've no guarantee it's the same, but it was a tree, which is what this is. And there was quite a hole that it was pecking in. And the reason I know that it's a bearded woodpecker is right on its face, a beard. And then I did just hear it call, so that also confirms it for me. If we listen, we can actually hear the pecking. What's fascinating about a woodpecker, everyone, is if we have a look at its tail, look there, you can see it almost like two spiky feathers that stick down the bottom half of, well, its wings are on top, and then that's its tail. Now, those feathers that are sticking out have two very sharp spikes at the end, which is an adaptation of the actual center of the feather. And they help stabilize the woodpecker. So it's part of the reason why they can balance on the side of trees like this. You can see the bottom, that tail sort of sticking into the bark, and that helps them to be able to latch onto the side and actually be quite secure on the side of trees while pecking away. And so because it's sort of inside, which means they have complete control over that tail, they bend it like that. Hopefully it'll do it again. There we go. And that gives them control and stability. So, Bill, thanks for sharing that. You said that they've been in the nest for a few days now, Amy, and that's exactly right. So bearded woodpeckers nest now over the winter period, which is quite interesting and different. Usually we think of birds of this size, usually nesting during the summer months. But I've just looked up here on my birding app for some to share with you all. And they say that the peak laying dates for bearded woodpeckers is from May to August. So we are right slap bang in the middle of that at the moment. They lay 1 to 3 eggs on a bed of wood chips in 1 day intervals. So the incubation period is 13 days. So once we've seen this completely excavated, which is what it's doing now, you see actually pulled some bits of bark. Now, but that's actually so cool. It's pulling out the bits now, getting that hole ready. And it actually says here on the app that the male can rear the brood, the chicks, without any female assistant. So this is the male excavating here now. He's red cap. The female has a completely black head, and she will come in and lay the eggs and then may not actually help at all in rearing the chicks. And as you can imagine, a frequent predator that these woodpeckers have to worry about is an African harrier hawk, who often comes to trees just like this one and tries to stick in its claws to grab eggs or baby birds. says that the hole is excavated sexes, so I wouldn't be surprised is at some stage so see the female at the same hole excavating it. Says that it takes 30 to 40 days for the nest to be ready. So, Bill, you say that it's been sort of noticed the last few days. They've still got a lot to go until the hole is ready. Spas, yes, you say 13 days, while incubation seems very fast. I think often incubation for eggs is a lot quicker than what we realize. I was looking up sunbirds the other day because a greater double-collared sunbird made a nest outside my mother's kitchen, and she was very fascinated to see that all of a sudden there was no one there very quickly. And their incubation was only about 6 days. So within a short period of time, those chicks are hatched and they fledge quite quickly after that as well. Only another probably week to 10 days or so. So these smaller artificial chicks that need all the care from the parents do actually develop quite quickly. Catherine, you say you have a lot of woodpeckers nesting where you are, but they are too high up in the trees to see them properly. Yeah, interesting behavior and such a cool adaptation these birds have, the woodpeckers. All over the world, different types of woodpeckers, all practicing similar behavior. And they're nice and warm inside, even in winter. Well, I think that's the idea, to line it then with wood chips and make sure that it's nice and cozy inside. And of course, for them to also incubate that nest in there, keep it nice and warm, well insulated within the wood, the wood of the tree. Now, I mentioned the African harrier hawk being one of the constant prey woodpecker eggs and chicks. Oh, there's another hole up there. It's a popular tree, this. And Yonda was just asking if fish eagles would also be a potential threat. No, I wouldn't say so. Just because a fish eagle would look for much sort of easier items to get larger prey than a little baby eggs or little chicks themselves. They specialize in, of course, catching fish, but also other larger birds or reptiles or things like that that are around waterholes. For them to try and get a foot into a hole like this, it's really worth the effort. It's quite a niche speciality that the harrier hawk is able to hunt in these cavities. Catherine, they can reuse the holes, so they actually likely do. But of course, they can choose to make a new one, as this woodpecker is doing. If the hole was already here, what you could find is that they are reusing a hole from last year, but they're just doing some renovations, as it were. Cleaning it out, making it nice and cozy. Who knows what else has used the hole. Often these holes can be used by other cavity nesting birds such as lilac-breasted rollers, starlings, things like that, barbets as well. So the woodpecker might get you like, there's a few things in here, or it smells a bit funny, or there's some other nesting material that they don't like. So they're just cleaning it out and getting it ready for their own eggs. So that actually is also, I think now that I'm thinking about it, probably the most likely, because I don't think it would have started completely from scratch. They are known to reuse buffalo, there we go. I was going to say buffalo weaver. They are known to reuse the holes in the trees. Wow, there's a lot going on here all of a sudden at the waterhole as well. So let's take a minute to appreciate a few of the other animals that are around. We've been so transfixed on the woodpecker. So much life around Gari Dam, which is the name of the dam where the Juma Dam Cam is. Elephants, buffalo, nyala, impalas, and plenty of bird life. All those elephants were off in a real huff all of a sudden. You can see the dust around. And that buffalo has just sat down now as well, having a bit of a mud wallow. Oh, that's amazing. Well, this is a really mature buffalo bull. Just his size, the thickness of his neck. Have a look at that, everyone. Wow. And then he's got that tip of skin underneath his chin called a dewlap. And that just comes with age. So buffaloes live anywhere from 20 to 25 years old, maybe even less than that, depending on whether some lions find them or whether they get struck by a disease. And you can see that that one is closing in on its 10th year, I think, if not already, of that age. And how beautiful to see this herd of elephants. Wow, this has been a treat. We are being spoiled for today's waterhole show. Wow. can hear a greater blue-eared starling calling. I love how this mommy is using her right front leg, just on the front of her toes, as she drinks. Oh, Sarah, it is the Bennett, and there's a lot of baby Ellies in the herd at the moment. Well, slowly but surely, I think the herd will move off. But Liesel, you want to... Well, actually, you've asked quite an interesting question about birds with nests on the ground, not risking getting them crushed by the elephants as they walk. And it's a fair enough assumption or thought that elephants may crush a bird's nest, and probably actually they do maybe crush a fair few throughout the year. But what I will say is that something like a three-banded plover or blacksmith lapwing, which would be the most common to have their eggs near the shoreline in this area, are fiercely protective. So if they aren't sitting on them elves, they'll be around nearby to protect. And as long as there's something around the nest or the bird itself is tweeting or something around, the elephants will generally avoid it. So if there is a bird there, they'll walk around the bird, or they might chase them. So something like a blacksmith lapwing will have will not be shy to start flapping it and chase off the elephant if they were to sort of be heading straight for the nest. I remember a story about a herd of buffalo, which are also another risk to crushing a whole bunch of birds' nests, coming down to drink at a river, and there was a blacksmith lapwing with eggs, and you just could see from a distance this line coming down to the water, and there was a kink in the line. They sort of were going in a bit of a U shape around, looked like they were going around something, although there was nothing there. And when I looked at binoculars, I could see a blacksmith lapwing flapping about and tweeting, and the buffalo just went around it. So there's definitely a risk that they could crush the eggs, but these birds do nest on the ground, have worked out very clever ways to try and make sure that that doesn't happen. Maurice, you'd like to know if elephants are abundant throughout the year? Yes, absolutely. So we can see elephants in Djuma and the surrounding areas of the Greater Kruger and throughout southern Africa, depending, of course, in reserves. We can see elephants throughout the year. So they might slightly change where they are in terms of moving to closer to water sources, particularly in the winter months. They have to travel a little bit further, whereas in summer they have a lot more water around to choose from, but they are abundant throughout the year. looks like that the buffalo is slowly moving off now. And elephants as well making their way on their usual route here around the waterhole. Jackson, you'd like to know if hippos tolerate any animals? The waterhole? Yes, for the most. I've seen lions around waterholes with hippos in it. I've seen wild dogs around. There's not too many that they would sort of be upset with unless it's a hippo that's trying to challenge them. I think as soon as an animal enters the water, it becomes more of a threat. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the other day we had Mohawk at Buffelshoek Dam, which is one of the waterholes on this property that you're looking at, Juma. And there were hippos in the water. They were aware of him being there, but they didn't chase him off or anything. I think as long as the lions don't start hunting the hippos, so in the water they're quite perfectly safe. You're not going to see a lion going into the water purpose unless they're trying to drown a buffalo or something like that. But I've seen elephants chase hippos out of water holes if it's quite a small or something like that, but I've never seen a hippo actually and chase off an animal, although I'm sure there are records of it happening somewhere. Ryan, hi. You say, hello, Amy. Bad news being a buffalo with a limp on Juma. Bad news for the buffalo, maybe very good news for a very good lion coming in the near future. Who knows? But yes, a buffalo with a limp could be an easy target for something like lions. And just to remind everyone that coming up this weekend is a special event being hosted by Trish, who's one of the guides at Juma at the moment. She is going to be hosting Commotion in the Ocean, which is a 3-night event starting this weekend on Friday the 7th of June until Sunday the 9th of June at 7 p.m. after drive every evening. And this is exclusively for explorers and YouTube members, and Trish is going to be discussing things about the ocean, marine life, all sorts of interesting things that she'll have going on there. So please make sure to join if you are a explorer or YouTube member. And Sarah, there's little baby Ellie. A nice close-up for you. You have had a wonderful time here at Chuma. Wow. But let's head back up to Kenya and see what's happening at Oldonyo. And then there was one still in a drink here at Oldonyo Lodge Waterhole. And clearly this elephant was slightly more thirsty than his friends. I do apologize if you hear any bit of construction noises in the background, everyone. There's, I think, a little bit of work being done at the lodge, which is behind. Oh, that elephant's having a scratch. And there's a giraffe on the right peeping out. That's always good to see. do apologize, everyone. We just lost the feed there at Old Donyo, but these elephants are found here at the dam consumer. I love seeing the little ones. Sometimes they struggle a bit to get up hills, but this one's actually doing quite well. Oh, Ryan, thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that that's what happened. You say that a hippo chased away the S8 male, which was a very old lion we saw who passed away near this waterhole. And the hippo chased him away basically where these elephants are standing now. So there we go. There are instances that has happened. Like I say, I'm not surprised. Hippos can be very territorial, and although I've seen lions and hippos at waterholes, it's not saying that they won't have that instinctual sort of behavior to chase something, especially like a predator, away from the water if it's quite close to them. Quentin, you'd like to know if it often happens elephants then must attack other animals at the waterhole. No, I wouldn't say that's a very common occurrence at all. Um, Elephants can be aggressive, they can attack animals, but it's not very, very common at all. It's just sort of sometimes happens once off, or they can be quite irritable. That's why, especially as a naturalist and guide, you have to be so aware of elephant bulls en masse and take extra precaution. The older ones seem to manage it quite well. They're used to it, but it's the younger bulls that are maybe starting to experience full blast for the first few times in their lives that can be very aggressive and irritable. And it's because their testes actually swell up. Apparently, they're about double in size. They've got a lot of hormones happening in their body, and I don't think that's especially comfortable because their testes are internal, that can place a lot of discomfort around the back area of their bodies. And then, of course, the raised hormones and the frustration of not being able to mate with a female just yet, or not having found a female to mate with. So it's all those factors together. But they don't just go around attacking other animals around waterholes. Well, I've really enjoyed being at Djuma Dam Cam this afternoon. So much life around, but it is starting to quiet down a little bit now. Let's head back over to Tau and catch up with what's going on that side. Some more elephants. Wonderful. They've arrived for a drink at the waterhole. can't believe we are coming to the end of the waterhole show today. See how time flies when you're having fun, and what a show we've had, everyone. Just have a look at the scene with all these zebras and elephants here at Tau. Wow, there were only about 5 or 6 zebras when you were here first, but all of a sudden the rest of these harems have arrived and we can see them all about. It's also lovely to do some birding with that woodpecker there excavating its nesting hole. Keep an eye on that in the shows to come as well. It'll be really nice to keep tabs on the development of those woodpeckers. And as they get that nest ready to have their lay their eggs and eventually have their chicks. So exciting times here. Around the Jumacam, and we had buffalo, we had more elephants, a few antelope in between, and even a giraffe saying hello to old Donyo, even though it was brief. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you for all your comments and your questions and welcoming me back so warmly as you always do. It really is appreciated. I will be back with you tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to being here for the next few days and seeing what we can see around the waterholes. It always is a lot of fun to just anticipate the unexpected or the unknown. We never quite know what may pop up. So please make sure that you do join us again tomorrow, the same time, same place, right here on Wild Earth. Straight after this, you will be heading into On Safari with Trish. So do look forward to that. Keep it right here on Wild Earth. And then straight after On Safari will be your live sunset, where you get to hop on board the largest virtual safari vehicle in the world and head out into the bush and see what you can find out on drive. But from me and the team here at Live at the Waterhole, thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Hello everyone! Look at this view of my cap. Wild Earth, bold and proud, and I hope that you are all